If you're anything like me, or should I say younger me, you've dreamt about doing your first pull-up. You've envisioned what it will feel like that first time you get your chin up over the bar, and one day that follow-up rep, oh my God, it's gonna feel so good. You're gonna feel so proud of yourself. I'm speaking from experience. My name is Summerfunfitness. There was at one point in my life, at the start of my calisthenics journey, where I couldn't do a single pull-up, all the way up to being able to do muscle-ups. So today we're gonna talk about all things pull-ups and the 2 methods you need to use in order to get your first pull-up, and hopefully much more than that. As much as I'd like to stand for this whole video, it's gonna take me some takes to get out all the information, so I hope you don't mind me getting cozy. First, why would you wanna do pull-ups? Pull-ups are really, really fun, and they are progressive. So once you've reached the pull-up, you can continue to add on different skill levels to make it harder, more rewarding, and keep you training consistently. You can go all the way from just regular pull-ups to archer pull-ups to doing fun little dances to muscle-ups and so much more. And while you're having this much fun and you have this performance-based goal that's motivating you to get up and go to the gym, you'll also be building your back muscle size as well as your strength and your core, depending on your rep scheme and form execution, of course. They're also quite practical because you're actually going to strengthen your hand. You'll be able to open jars, carry groceries, actually lift those weights with your own hand strength instead of needing external assistance to complete your lifts. Actually, that brings me to a fun little story. I was living alone, made a smoothie, and this was before I got strong, and I got the blender cup lid stuck, and I just wanted that smoothie so much. And I didn't have much money at the time, so I didn't want to waste the ingredients that were in the smoothie. So I left my apartment building and walked around with my blender cup with the thing on it until I found somebody who could open it. Now, thanks to pull-ups and strengthening my own hands, I can open my own smoothie cups. On to the main topic. How do you actually get your first pull-up? Step number 1 is to want it, to believe you can do it, to vision yourself doing it, to practice it both mentally and physically. If you, for some reason, need to achieve your pull-up ASAP, like within 30 days or whatever quick time scheme that you've put on yourself, you're gonna need an at-home pull-up bar so that you can train consistently, and so you're removing barriers to actually working on your goal, because if you're home, the pull-up bar is there, as opposed to needing to drive to a gym or a calisthenics park. Let's divide our pull-up plan into 2 parts. Part number 1, greasing the groove. What you're gonna do is lightly train pull-ups or a pulling variation if you're a complete beginner, very lightly throughout your day, multiple times a day. You're gonna make sure that you're never reaching exhaustion. Doing so helps your body to develop a specific movement pattern and activation required in order to do your first pull-up. Obviously, this is gonna be easiest if you have an at-home pull-up bar. When I first made pull-ups my goal, well, it wasn't just pull-ups. I wanted to do the fancy leg walking thing because I saw a woman on Ellen DeGeneres do it. So that was my first pull-up goal, but I couldn't do a pull-up then. What I did is I got an at-home pull-up bar and I did a pull-up every time I walked under it. So I put it in a high traffic area of my house and did, say, a pull-up, a scat pull, or just hung there for a moment every time I walked under it until I could kind of start to do some pull-ups or some half pull-ups, and then I moved to that harder variation. If I wasn't home at all that day, then I just made sure to do 1 or 2 every hour for when I was home. The other option is if you already go to a gym 5 to 6 days a week, start your session and end your session with some hanging work, just to build up that grip strength, that body awareness, and to actually be utilizing the grease the groove method. Even if you can't do a pull-up, this is important. And because we're not pushing ourselves to exhaustion here, you're welcome to do it on your pulling days, your pushing days, and start working on nailing this movement pattern, especially that scat pull down. Summary: to get good at pull-ups, you have to actually practice the skill of doing a pull-up. Okay, so it's still fall in the Okanagan in Canada, but the sky is completely covered with smoke, so it's actually pretty cold. So I'm just gonna put this sweater on. Okay, where were we? Part 2, have a designated pull session. This means having at least 1 session per week where you are actually gonna focus on strengthening your overall pulling muscles so that you also get better at pull-ups, as well as just building more muscle and strength within your body. Based on my own experience, I believe that you should really focus most of your strength on performing negative pull-ups. Negative pull-ups are how I achieve my pull-up, as well as many other skills like using negatives for my handstand push-ups, for my handstand presses, for my muscle-ups. Doing negatives is so important and such an excellent tool to building up strength and body awareness in the skill that you're trying to achieve. The negative pull-up should be the most strenuous component of your pull day. So this means we're gonna be doing lower reps. I would recommend doing 6 to 8 reps. You can take a pause in between, of course, for say 3 to 4 sets with ample rest in between. So we're looking at around 2 minutes of rest in between each set. Now, to perform a negative pull-up, you will have to jump or climb up to that top position, hold it for a second there, and then count in your head and lower as slowly as possible. Now, the very first time you do this, you might just shoot down, and that's okay as long as you're contracting your muscles and you're trying to teach your body how to slow it down. You need to have that intention behind the exercise in order to get better at it. So now we've covered the main exercise, but what about all the other exercises? Because you do have to strengthen your overall pulling muscles. So here are the exercises that I would recommend a beginner add into their pull day. As a beginner, I would focus on higher reps for these other exercises. In the description box below, I will include a free workout demonstration for how to get your first pull-up. It'll include reps and sets and everything like that. Just look in the description box below or visit me on summerfunfitness.com. If you already participate in a pulling sport, such as climbing, then what I would do is at least 2 days a week add in some pulling drills at either the start or end of your session, depending on your overall goals for that day, but say at least a half hour, 2 sessions per week. If you're just doing it 1 day a week, then I would say a minimum of 1 hour session. So in case you missed it, here is the summary. Add in daily pull-ups or pull-up variation at very light reps, at a very light effort, multiple times throughout your day, such as doing just hanging drills, gap pulls, half pull-up, negative pull-ups. For this, you are gonna need an at-home pull-up bar. And if you're looking for a really high quality one, my favorite out of all the ones that I've tried over the years is pull-up and dips. You can use my discount code to save, and I will put the full link in the description box below. And then we wanna make sure that you have at least 1 dedicated pull workout a week. Definitely add in some negative reps to whatever you're doing. Even if you're weightlifting, you can always do negative squats at a really heavy weight if your goal is to improve at squats at that heavy weight. They're definitely an excellent tool. And for that free how to get your first pull-up workout, just check the description box below. And in the meantime, check out my top 10 calisthenics pull exercise video or watch how I got my muscle up. I hope you found this video informative and that you're motivated and inspired to get your first pull-up. I promise you it's gonna feel so incredible when you do. Thank you!